You finally left, or maybe you were discarded. The silence, which should bring peace, has brought a deafening noise inside your body. It's a cruel and rarely discussed paradox. The moment you are technically safe, away from the source of danger, is when you feel the sickest. I'm not just talking about sadness or a broken heart. I'm talking about an exhaustion that feels like it penetrates the marrow of your bones. I'm talking about that mental fog that prevents you from forming coherent sentences, the unexplained muscle aches that migrate through your body, recurrent infections, hair loss, sudden weight changes, or that knot in your stomach that refuses to untie. You look in the mirror and see someone aged, drained, a shadow of the vibrant woman who once existed, and the question that echoes in your mind, fueled by the doubt he planted, is the problem me? Am I weak? Why can't I just move on like everyone tells me to do? The answer no one has given you, and which we will explore today with surgical depth, is that you are not just sad, you are physically wounded. Narcissistic abuse is not merely a psychological game, it is continuous biological aggression. What you are experiencing is not drama or lack of will. It is the result of a physiological system that was pushed to the limit of human endurance, and that, now in the absence of war, has collapsed to try and save what's left of you. Understanding this changes everything. When you realize that your illness is in fact an adaptive response to a toxic environment, the guilt dissolves and gives way to strategy. Recovering your health after this type of abuse is not about positive thinking. It's about neurobiology, it's about chemistry, and it's about reclaiming authority over your own skin. Let's decode what the abuse did to your biology and map out the exact route to reverse that damage. My name is Lauren Mitchell. My purpose with this channel is to show you that the problem was never you, and more importantly, that you are not alone. To understand how to reclaim your health, we first need to validate the state of emergency you lived in, perhaps for years or decades. During the relationship with a narcissistic person, you weren't dating or married in the traditional sense. Your body interpreted living with this person as if you were existing in an active war zone. Imagine an animal in the wild being hunted. Its body releases stress hormones, cortisol, adrenaline, so it can fight or flee. The heart races, digestion stops, because you don't need to digest food if you're about to become food. The immune system is suppressed to conserve energy for the muscles. This is meant to last minutes. The animal either escapes or dies. If it escapes, it shakes, releases the energy, and goes back to calmly grazing. You lived in this state of red alert 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The narcissist's unpredictability, the sudden silent treatment, the rage outburst over a trivial matter, the compliment followed by an insult, kept your nervous system stuck in the on position. You learned to read the temperature of the room by the way they slammed a door or the tone of their voice in a good morning. Your body never relaxed. Even when sleeping, you were vigilant. The problem is that the human body was not designed to sustain this level of chemical toxicity for long periods. What happens when the threat is chronic? What we call allostatic load occurs. The accumulated wear and tear on the body's systems. This is why, now, you are experiencing real physical symptoms. Perhaps you have developed thyroid disorders, very common in survivors, fibromyalgia, irritable bowel syndrome, chronic migraines, or adrenal fatigue. Many victims report that right after leaving the relationship, they crash. They catch a flu that lasts a month, or develop sudden inflammation. This is known as the letdown effect. While you were in the war, your body held itself together with pure adrenaline. Now that the war is over, the immune system, which was suppressed, reactivates in a disorganized way, and all the accumulated inflammation surfaces. You go to the doctor, get blood tests, and often they say, everything's normal, it's just stress. And this is invalidating, because you know it's not normal. You feel like your cells are screaming, and they are. They are screaming the story of the abuse that your mind often still tries to minimize or rationalize. Your body is the most honest ledger that exists. It kept count of every lie, every betrayal, and every manipulation you swallowed. Here we enter the first fundamental pillar for your recovery, understanding the biochemistry of your suffering. One of the hardest things to accept is that the bond with a narcissist works chemically, the same way as addiction to heroin or cocaine. This is not a metaphor. It is neuroscience. The narcissistic abuse cycle operates through intermittent reinforcement. The narcissist gives you love, validation, and heaven, dopamine and oxytocin, and suddenly throws you into the hell of scorn and coldness, cortisol and adrenaline. Then, they rescue you from the hell they themselves created, generating immense relief. Your brain became addicted to this cycle. It learned that the source of the pain, the narcissist, is also the only source of relief. Over time, your brain receptors were altered. You needed increasingly larger doses of drama or validation to feel anything. When the relationship ends, or when you initiate no contact, your body enters physical withdrawal. This is why logic doesn't work. You know intellectually that they are bad for you. You have a list of all the terrible things they did, but your body trembles with need. You feel an overwhelming compulsion to check their social media, to send a message, to find out if they are with someone else. That is not love. That is not a soulmate. That is peptide withdrawal. Your cells are screaming for the chemical dose they were conditioned to receive. Recovering your health means treating this initial period not as romantic mourning, but as a clinical detoxification. If you were helping someone get off drugs, would you tell that person to just take a little peek at the drug? No. You know that any contact restarts the cycle of addiction. No contact is the tourniquet that stops the bleeding. In the beginning, it hurts more. Anxiety spikes. Your heart feels like it's going to pound out of your chest. This is the extinction burst, your addicted brain's final effort to make you return to the old behavior to get the chemical reward. To recover your health, you need to endure this discomfort without giving in. You need to hack your own biochemistry. Intense physical exercise, to burn off cortisol, cold showers, to stimulate the vagus nerve, anti-inflammatory diet, because your gut was destroyed by stress, are not just wellness tips. They are medical prescriptions for a brain in withdrawal. You are teaching your cells to function without chaos. And like any detox, the worst passes, but only if you don't consume the drug again. If this content is helping you, imagine a complete guide structured in 60 deep and transformative pages. My new ebook gathers everything you need to understand what you live through and free yourself from the patterns that hold you back. And the best part? It's accessible and straight to the point. Access it now through the link in the description of this video. The second pillar of your recovery focuses on the electrical wiring of your body, the autonomic nervous system. Narcissistic abuse alters the way your brain processes reality and safety. Normally, we should gently oscillate between the sympathetic system, action, alertness, and the parasympathetic system, rest, digestion, connection. But as a survivor, your thermostat is broken. You are likely stuck in one of two states: sympathetic hypervigilance. You are the person who can't sit with their back to the door. You jump at the sound of the phone. Your mind won't stop, creating catastrophic scenarios. You feel a constant urgency to do something, to explain yourself, to defend yourself, even when you're alone. Your body is ready for a fight at any second. This burns out your adrenal glands and prevents restful sleep. Dorsal vagal collapse, freezing. You feel a heavy lethargy, extreme procrastination, a sense of dissociation, as if you are watching life through a pane of glass. Depression, numbness, difficulty, feeling joy or sadness. It's the body saying, there's no way to fight or flee, so I'll play dead to survive. The narcissist trained you to ignore your instincts. When your body said danger, they said, you're crazy. When your stomach turned at a lie, they said, you're jealous. This gaslighting disconnected you from your own sensory perception, interoception. Recovering your health requires somatic work of reconnection. Talk therapy is excellent, but it often doesn't reach the trauma lodged in the basic nervous system. You can't think your way out of a trauma response. You need to feel your way out. This involves practices that communicate safety directly to your body without passing through the rational brain. Deep breathing, with a longer exhale than inhale, sends a mechanical signal to the vagus nerve that you are safe. If you were being chased by a lion, you wouldn't be breathing slowly. By breathing this way, you hack the system, forcing it into rest mode. Another crucial technique is grounding, feeling your feet on the floor, noticing the texture of the chair, observing 5 blue objects in the room. This takes you out of the emotional flashback, the past, and catastrophic anxiety, the future, and brings you into the now, the only place the narcissist has no power over you. The goal here is to increase your window of tolerance. In the beginning, any trigger throws you into hypervigilance or collapse. With somatic work, you widen this window, allowing you to experience stress without falling apart and joy without feeling that something bad is going to happen next. It is the re-education of your safety instinct. We arrive at the deepest and perhaps the most painful pillar. The recovery of your physical health depends directly on the recovery of your identity. There is a direct and proven correlation between self-suppression and illness. During the relationship, to survive, you had to amputate vital parts of who you were. You had to swallow your anger, silence your opinions, ignore your needs, and mold yourself to be the perfect supply. Gabor Mate, a renowned trauma expert, states that when we have to choose between attachment, the bond with the other, and authenticity, being who we are, the child and the traumatized adult will always choose attachment because isolation feels like death, but the cost of lost authenticity is health. The anger you didn't express outwardly turned inward. The confused immune system starts to attack the body itself, autoimmune diseases, just as you learn to attack yourself psychically to prevent the narcissist from doing so. If I criticize myself first, maybe it will hurt less when he does. Recovering your health requires you to feel the anger. Many women fear anger, thinking it will make them bitter, or just like him. On the contrary, healthy anger is the immune force of the psyche. It is the energy that says, "Not this. You don't cross this line. I deserve respect." Anger is the energy of the boundary, of the limit. Without the ability to say no and feel the protective anger when that no is violated, your physical immune system becomes overloaded, trying to do the boundary work that your psyche is failing to do. The healing process involves mourning the false self you built to please him. You need to forgive that version of you who accepted crumbs. She wasn't weak. She was trying to survive. But now, she needs to be retired. The reconstruction of the self is an act of health. Returning to hobbies, returning to having controversial opinions, returning to wearing the clothes you like, returning to taking up space. Every time you enforce a boundary, whether it's, "I won't answer that phone," "I won't have lunch with this toxic person," "Today I need to rest," you are sending a powerful healing message to your cells. I matter. I am the guardian of this body. I am in charge now. Recovering your health after narcissistic abuse is not about going back to who you were before. That person, unfortunately, no longer exists. And being brutally honest, you don't want to go back to being her, because she was the person who, through innocence or previous trauma, didn't have the tools to protect herself from this predator. You are building someone new, someone forged in the fire. The scars you carry, whether emotional or manifested in physical symptoms, are not marks of shame. They are survival maps. Understand that healing is not linear. There will be days when you feel like you are back at square one, days when your body aches and exhaustion wins. On those days, remember, your body is not failing. It is processing. Give it the rest that was denied for years. Validate your pain. The greatest revenge against a narcissist is not exposing them, not screaming, not trying to destroy them. The greatest revenge is being happy, healthy, and whole. It is your body vibrating with vitality, your eyes shining with clarity, and your nervous system at peace. They hate your peace because they cannot control it or extract it. Your health is your greatest asset. Take care of it as the sacred treasure the narcissist tried to loot but failed to take. You are still here, and now you know the way back home, back inside your own body. Take a deep breath. The recovery has begun. Feel free to leave your story, your venting, or even a suggestion for a topic for the next video in the comments below. Access my ebook now through the link in the description. Click on the suggested video on the screen to continue with me, and remember, you are light. Never forget to shine.